Hey everybody, today is January 31st, and today we're going to talk about the price of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is about to close another monthly candle, and we're going to talk about what I expect or what I'm looking forward to for the month of February, and whether I think the Bitcoin price has bottomed over here, or whether there's more pain to potentially come further throughout the remainder of the year. Before we begin, please read this disclaimer, and you can pause the video as you read it. Okay, so today is, of course, January 31st, so it is the last day of the month, and let me just pull up a clean chart over here. You can see that we basically are closing our third consecutive red candle, right? And the last time we did that was last summer when China banned miners, basically tried to put ban on cryptocurrencies, right? So basically over the last year, we've basically been sideways. You see, we've just been going sideways, right? And now that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I know it's very frustrating for some people who, they're very bullish, but I mean, we're literally closing, we're closing this month basically where we were exactly a year ago, price-wise. Now this is, like I said, we had a spectacular rise from September, October of 2020 to April of last year, right? Where we just saw a massive, massive rally from, let's see over here, over 500%, which is not too bad, right? Not too bad for a couple months of gains. And that's just if you bought in like September, October, right? If you bought all the way in the pandemic lows, that's even better. That's like what's that? Like over 1,000%, right? You're over 10x easily, right? So I think that this consolidation that we've been in for over a year right now is basically a reaction to this massive rally, right? When you have a 1,000% 10x gain, right? It's not unlikely that the market's going to consolidate for a while. I think that's what we're seeing right now. Right? Everyone is really angry that we're not seeing 100,000. And I myself thought that we could have hit 100,000, especially when the Bitcoin price went up to like 69K in November. But obviously, this pullback is the whales, the institutions telling us that they're not ready for that yet, right? We want to see more consolidation. That's what they're saying. So we have to follow what the whales are doing, right? Unless you are smart money and you have hundreds or millions or billions of dollars, the best way to trade is try to figure out what the smart money is doing and just follow the market. Let the market lead and tell you what it's doing, right? And right now the market has been in a downtrend for nearly 3 months now, and every time we see it bounce, it's an opportunity for us potentially to put in a bottom. But we failed for multiple times, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times we failed to put in a bottom. And so is this going to be the 5th time we fail and or is this going to finally be the bottom that we're looking for? And I think a lot of this has to do with the stock market, right? Like I've said many times in many videos and in many charts, the stock market is what is leading the crypto markets, in my opinion, especially the NASDAQ, right? Because the more institutional involvement and adoption that we have in cryptocurrencies, they're going to start treating it like they would treat another growth stock, another risk-on asset in the traditional market. So we can't be surprised that when we saw this pullback from January of this year, right? January of this year, we've basically seen crypto crash, right? And of course, we saw a November pullback due to the Omicron scare, right? Omicron scare, we also saw the market pullback. Now, the market has been doing a little bit better since the Omicron scare, except now that it's pulled back. But Bitcoin has basically just been in a straight downtrend, right? Because people are afraid to put risk on assets, and a lot of that has to do with what's happening in the Federal Reserve, right? The Federal Reserve is seeing inflation really at record highs since 1982, right? And so their attempt to curb that is going to involve tapering their bond buying programs, right? Their purchasing programs of treasury bonds and also mortgage-backed securities and other assets, right? And they're also going to start raising interest rates, which are record lows right now, and that's going to help curb inflation. And but that's in turn is going to hurt risk-on asset growth stocks, tech stocks. Like that's why the Nasdaq has been hit pretty hard compared to something like the Dow, right? The Dow and even the S&P. The S&P is at least recovering. Trying to recover, trying to hold above the 200-day, but the Nasdaq is still below, right? So and of course, with any risk-on asset like the Nasdaq, Bitcoin has been hit pretty hard too, right? We saw the death cross we talked about right over here. Oops, death cross, which is something that we saw similarly last summer. We had the death cross, and of course the price went down. But the question is, are we finally going to put in a bottom here? And I think that as long as the market can put in a bottom right here. I did make another video on the stock market, which you can view right now. It's going to come out at the same time as this video. If the stock market, this is the S&P 500, right? If the stock market can hold the 200-day moving average, which is this blue line right here, and continue to move up higher, I believe that the stock market will, the crypto market and Bitcoin especially this video, I guess, Bitcoin in particular, will continue to recover and push up higher, right? And also we talked about how the dollar and the Bitcoin price is inversely correlated. And as the stock market is recovering right now, we're starting to see that the dollar index is actually pulling back, which is really great for Bitcoin, right? Because this rising dollar was putting some pressure on Bitcoin, but now the dollar is pulling back now. I see this big red candle. Now that the dollar is pulling back now, we're starting to see a nice recovery. And if this is the bottom, what we want to see is not only a recovery, but now we're going to have to start testing these resistance levels. And there's a lot of resistance, right? Resistance over here with this price action. Of course, resistance over here. This is going to be major resistance, right? Because we have really three areas of resistance, right? The price action, the Fibonacci resistance line at 47,000, and also this 200 moving average, which is this blue line right over here. So this is going to be major. So the first level is around 40,000 to 45,000. And then it's 47 to 50,000. And if we can break that, then it's like 60,000 over here, right? And then of course we have our Fibonacci next resistance level, which is 65,000 to 70,000, which is basically our previous all-time high. So there's a lot of resistance that Bitcoin needs to push through. But the stock market can continue and especially go up to all-time highs, surpass all-time highs, and continue up higher. And not only that, we see dollar index continue down and potentially enter a downtrend, right? I believe that Bitcoin can, at least this year, push up higher and potentially hit new all-time highs, right? But yeah, I just want to reiterate that this sideways price action is not necessarily a bad thing. We're not in a bear market until, in my opinion, we break below 30,000, right? And then we'll probably go to 20,000. But as long as we're holding 30,000, we're basically stuck in this, ranging market between 30,000 and 60,000. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Bitcoin is simply consolidating after having a 10x plus move in 2000, right? Sorry, 2020. So seeing some consolidation is actually quite healthy, and I think that and there's also a lot of leverage that needs to be flushed out of the market. So I think that if Bitcoin is able to recover here, maybe go sideways a little bit more before breaking out into the end of the year, and perhaps starting 2023 off as a potential rally, a year of where we have an epic rally to maybe 100,000 or beyond. I think that going sideways is a nice little sacrifice that I think many people would be willing to make. And that means that we're building a strong base that could potentially lead to a higher breakout, right? Perhaps to 100,000 and beyond. So yeah. So okay. So what I'm looking for is basically we want to see Bitcoin just hold this level, right? Hold at least this wick below, which is down to like 32,000, right? We definitely don't want to see Bitcoin go down to 30,000 and of course not break down below 30,000, because then that's probably going to go down to 20,000. What we want to see, at least in the short term, is Bitcoin to hit 40,000. And if we're able to break above 40,000, like I said in my last video, perhaps consolidate and then push up higher, that's bullish, and I would be looking to take some long positions. But if we get a dead cat bounce and get rejected at 40,000, end up rolling over and going down to 30,000, that's definitely bad, and we'll likely retest 30,000 and in worst case just plunge down to 20,000, right? And then we're in a bear market, right? But for now, we got to give benefit of the doubt to the bulls, right? They're putting in the work. They're basically been in this uptrend channel for the last couple of days. So the bulls are doing a pretty good job holding this level, but we definitely need to see what's going to happen once we hit 40,000, right? We're $1,500 away from 40,000, and if the bulls really want a strong break above 40,000 and just to hold 40,000 and then push up higher, cultivate support, take some supply off the market, cultivate support, and push up higher to our next resistance level around $47,000 to $50,000, right? Let's see. Went over this. Yeah, so now that the dollar is pulling back and Bitcoin has recovered a bit, 40,000 is the next step we're going to look for. Still a lot of fear in the markets, right? But that's a good thing, because if you're a bull, right, and this is not necessarily a bear market, right? We're in a ranging market right now, and there's a lot of fear. That means that this could be the bottom, potentially. And we can have a lot of upside before the fear ingredient index tells us that the market is a bit overbought and we need to start taking some profits, right? Lastly, let's look at the hash rate. Hash rate is still in this uptrend, right? It's good. It hasn't broken down or anything, but we definitely want the hash rate to get above 200, right? And we get above 200 and go up to all-time highs in hash rate. That tends to lead the market in terms of being a leading indicator. When the hash rate is doing very well, the Bitcoin market is also doing very well. So as long as the hash rate continues to recover, I'm still pretty optimistic that the price of Bitcoin will recover. So hash rate, stock market, which is just absolutely ripping right now into the close. Absolutely epic. And a falling dollar, right? A falling dollar, that's going to be all good for Bitcoin. And I can see us, we can put it in the bottom here. I definitely see Bitcoin at a really, really great risk reward entry level here. There's all this potential upside, right? Back to the range high that we've been in for the last year, right? Going sideways, perhaps going up to 60,000. And then from there, we can see if Bitcoin has what it takes to take us to 100,000 by the end of this year, right? But first, baby steps, right? Baby steps. Like I said in my last video, 40,000 is going to be the key to watch, right? We're very close to 40,000 right now. The key is going to be if the bulls have what it takes to break above 40,000, cultivate support and push up higher. If not, this could be another dead cat bounce that we've seen, making another lower high, right? Along this downtrend that continues to go even further down to perhaps 30 or 20,000. And that could be another shorting opportunity. But for now, we're going to have to see, and I'll probably make another video in the next couple of days. We're going to let the price action play out a little bit and see if Bitcoin has what it takes to break above 40,000, right? To break above 40,000 and go up higher, or is it going to break above 40,000 and get rejected and give us some shorting opportunities? So we'll definitely update you in the next maybe 2 or 3 days and see how the price action develops going forward. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it helpful, useful, or informative, please like this video, leave a comment below, and subscribe for updates. I appreciate all your support. Thank you again, and have a great day.